Always in the morning when I start gathering my thoughts before I record, it always is like communication where they start pointing things out or saying things or the videos they bring me to look at or whatever. And I was just watching this one because yesterday again, I didn't watch them, but in the morning I still watch them and drink some tea and kind of gather my thoughts, like what's going on in the world, is there anything happening, how is the energy with the people, what are people paying attention to, what are people talking about, what are people looking at, and stuff like that. And so I'll scroll on there, and then I just went on this one and I started to cry. I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta go record before I start just bawling my head off in it. I just got some new mascara, but I don't know. I see double on everything or something. I don't know how to explain it because it's like the double is so close that it all just makes it kind of look blurry up close or something, and it sucks because I have to keep putting on the readers so I can read the comments or communicate with people. Oh my god, yesterday, oh my gosh, I gotta talk about that too. I have a few things I need to talk about. The thing that they just kept going over and over and over and over and over and over in my head: minor attracted people, and it's like, oh my god, the stuff that people some of this stuff that is so divided on how people see it. And one of the things too is when I think about, like, when I'm hearing people talk and stuff like that, and I see like they're years behind where I'm at. Maybe they'll go faster, maybe it won't take them years to catch up or whatever, but knowing that like I'm years ahead of so many people, and I get it. Like, I don't judge anybody. I'm just thankful I woke up when I did, and I completely get how people are so locked in and stuff, but it's still, there just is a frustration that I constantly have to overcome, and it did again this morning. I was like, fuck, I gotta just stay off TikTok. It's just frustrating to see how behind and how stuck people are. And I know this event that's about to happen, which, come on, fucking hell. Like, I feel like October's almost over now. It's like, I just motherfucking can't believe this shit. I just can't believe it sometimes. It's like, oh my fucking God. This is the slowest process. But then I go in and I see people talking, and it's like, oh my God, this is the slowest process. Oh my God. And that is where I have to be like, okay, you gotta relax. You gotta enjoy your life. You gotta, you can't sit here and stress out. And it isn't like I can get away from it, because people who are waking up message and ask questions and stuff, and they don't even know what they're waking up to. They don't even know what's going on. They don't understand anything. Like, it is, luckily, my daughter, when she is constantly talking to me, like, and there is such a confusion, and I completely relate with what she is going through 100%. Like, I think anybody who's broken, no matter what, if you're the breaker up or you've been broken up with, they're both horrible. Both things are horrible. Nobody who's ever broken up with somebody goes out of it and feels good. And if they feel good right then, it catches up with you. So both rules are very challenging to go through. And I swear to God, the only thing that keeps me really going with the conversations with my daughter is her understanding of mental health. Like, because that's her profession, and she completely understands when I say stuff, what I'm saying, on so many levels. Like, it starts getting into talking on a certain level, and she's like, I don't understand what you're saying. And the other problem is that you can talk on a certain level and people don't realize that you're talking on another level. And this is the thing when you're communicating with the universal consciousness, but they don't understand you are on another level how you're speaking, and they're translating it with the book. It's like they're translating your words and what you're saying with the old book. So they haven't caught up. And then as you awaken words, everything just kind of transforms. And it is very, it is, it's just, I can't, and maybe, it's part of my perception, it's part of my perspective, is what I'm here to understand. And it has something to do with me being a water sign and me having blue eyes and me understanding the language of water, the unity, the movement, all of it. Maybe, and that is meant so that I do speak out. When you talk about source, the energy of all that is, and then it comes out when I talk about it, goes into the next set, like what I would say in a micro macro situation would be your organs. But in this sense, you could think of it as going into elements, like, and so it would be my perception, how my mind works, how I am taught as a soul, what I come from. If you get what I'm saying. But it is also that you, that would just be your understanding. Like the same thing as when I say, like, if you have all your organs have different cells, and if those cells, well, inside of a body, it can become cancerous. But in the micro macro, see, we're learning how to not be cancerous, to not be diseased, because this has been a disease, like I talked about from the very beginning, and that the white blood cells, the light that came in to break up the disease. But it is all also because there's so many levels going on, just as this realm where we're at is so multi-level, that there is this whole expansion. Like the solar system is also expanding. And so it is, the disease had to be cleaned up for the opportunity to expand. And that's what we're going through. That is the awakening. That is the stuff to come to the surface. So you have to reevaluate yourself, your life, your priorities, your ethical, moral compass, all of it. It is so that you have to see yourself. And that's why there's no getting away from it. I know I'm not speaking out of turn when I say in this mass awakening that's about to occur with whatever this event, this horrible thing that's going to go down, that's going to get everyone's attention. There will be no, everybody will pay attention when whatever goes on, and that is going to show. I mean, all you got to do, it doesn't take a fucking psychic to see around you, like the absurdity, the disgusting shit that is all around us, but the people who are still locked in can't see it. So you have to just use your logic, just use your common sense. Is it going to be something like all fairy tales when this goes down to get everybody's attention? No, it's going to be fucking dramatic. It's going to be horrible, no matter what. And nobody knows who it's going to affect, how it's going to affect them. Nobody knows that. We just know that that is the change. That is where things change, because it's so horrible. It gets everyone's attention. Everyone goes into having to heal, having to realize what this place is, having to expand and evolve themselves. They all think it's horrible because this horrible thing happened. But when you get to the other side, then you see, like, oh my God, if that wouldn't have happened, we would have stayed the way we were. We would have just stayed enslaved and fighting with each other. We're moving into a time where we're going to take responsibility for ourselves. You have to heal to take responsibility for yourself. But anyways, I'm all over the place, I know. But the perception, the way you view the world, because when you understand and you start paying attention and you start understanding about perspective, and everybody has their own, and hopefully it doesn't click off. I spent yesterday doing a couple things, but I did go through and try and clear out, but I could see they're manipulating something with my phone again. And I know that they did the last time, because when they had told me everything was full, and and I'm trying to move stuff and delete stuff and do all that stuff, and I spent all that time doing all of that, and then all of a sudden every single thing on my iCloud cleared out, and then immediately everything on my phone cleared out. And then I went on somebody's laptop because it said you could get your stuff back. if you go on there, and they said I didn't have anything. There's nothing. And I, right now, when they're doing it, they're telling me that again. They're putting this stuff out as I'm trying to delete. Oh, don't worry. You can get this stuff back for 20 days or 30 days. You can get your stuff back. Just go online, blah, blah, blah. And no, so I know whatever. I don't know everything is going on, but anyways, if it clicks off again, just suddenly, it's that again. I'm trying to figure out, what the fuck. But even when I'm trying to do it, that will just all of a sudden say, nope, you can't do that. Nope, nope, nope. It's like, you motherfucker. God. And I just saw somebody talking about, and I think I've said this before, but in every single thing about their control and changing us into these cars and stuff like that so that they can control the cars. And we give up more and more and more. Oh, I don't want a map. I just want my car I don't want to have to pay attention. I just want my car, we give up our own thinking, and we give it up so that we can focus on shallow shit. That's the thing. They want us always focused on shallow shit. So we're not even doing something good when we are giving up this, it's not like people are going all these easy routes and then spending all their time in self-care and meditating and taking care of themselves in the world as a place in the world, like feeding themselves, clothing themselves, and all that stuff. So it is just used as a distraction, as a misdirection. I just saw this fucking, it was like a commercial, and it is these elite people. Like, I don't even, this was like Batman fucking shit. Like, I don't, no, Batman was even a bat cave. Like, this was like, what was his name? Batman, Bruce something. It was like his house underground. His house underground. Like, I am not shitting you. Indoor, like indoor eco, like you'd have birds, and I can't even tell you what this, it was beyond anything that any of us could ever fucking imagine. And, it's just being shown right out there. And this is the underground, in case of something bad going down, the rich people. Like, I don't even know how rich you'd have to be to do this. Like, this wasn't just like I'm making a bunker. Like, what do you need in the world? This was like I'm making a whole city under the ground. I mean, with fucking art museums and indoor swimming pools, and I can't even tell you. Like, this was mental. And it's going through a whole commercial selling you like, oh man, this is, we offer luxury when we are making places for you to survive what's going to happen on the planet and all this stuff. We go all out. We got wine cellars in your luxurious underground home facility, and everything, like, you walk in, it's all automated. Like, Bill Gates designed the thing or something. Like, you walk in a room and the lights go. It was crazy. I don't even know what you would pay for something like that. And that they have that stuff under there. There's probably some of them that are under there right now. Like, I think probably a lot of them got arrested, but when we talk about the shaking and rolling and sounds underground and the flames coming out of sewers and stuff like that, probably down there fighting with those people, not just the reptilians in the tunnel. Probably there's fucking ruby ridges going on under there. Like, these people have built these goddamn city fortresses. Like, what? I couldn't even believe it. It was the same thing as like when I saw the commercial for The Line, which that got shared over and over and over and over and over and over. It's probably still getting shared, still getting talked about. But how they made that look. But this was even more detailed. Oh, and we have space for you to hang up all your expensive, what is that? Not just expensive artwork, but the artwork that is like your Picassos and, your Monets and stuff. Like, the expensive stuff. I can't remember how she said it. But everything that they were talking to was like, a trailer park person watching luxurious. I mean, it's so far beyond anything and besides the fact we as beings, as mankind, as part of this evolution is this awareness of we don't need this shit. We don't need all this shit to stay alive. We don't need this shit to be alive. We don't need this shit to enjoy life. This is all soul to us. We are the ones who are cut off from ourselves, thinking something out there can give us something inside of us to make us feel better. And chasing that material shit is a superficial life, and people will do anything to hurt people. They don't care. And it is a superficial chase that will never fulfill you. You're always going to have an empty cup because you're chasing something that doesn't matter. And what people will do to get it will only create more anxiety and chaos inside of you because your soul is not in alignment. And when you're not in alignment with your soul, then you are going around as the avatar. But everything in life is going to keep pushing you to connect with your soul. And that is what the awakening is about, is people to start connecting with their soul. Because you can't evolve if you're disconnected from your soul. You're just in this 3D, I just like to come in and shop and put on cute clothes or whatever. Like whatever your thing is, the 3D is about learning. It's about learning who you are. It's about being able to go in and play out who you think you are so you can see clearly who you are. And you're always learning. So the 3D is all about that. And this is not the only 3D reality there is. I don't even know how many there is because there's just endless realms and realities. When I hear these people, like I just saw this footage of this, so many people right now are so scared of every fucking thing. Scared of every motherfucking thing. Oh my God, damn, I can't even tell you. So they saw these beings walking, which you could see when you see them, like we've all seen the footage, and that is what it is like. It's like a blur in the energy. It's like there's a blur and you can see the blur moving. And depending on the radiation of that energy, you can pick up form in different levels of form. So you may be able to see an outline of them with it radiating out, their like aura, their energy radiating out. But you can see the movement. But see, they're not in the shell. They're not in the bodysuit to come into the reality. So they don't have the same... it is different to just go into it than it is to birth into it. So, that is just a difference in, what the beings or whatever, because everything's multidimensional. And then people also scared of up in the sky. I mean, the lights in the sky have people freaking the fuck out. Like, what is frustrating is how the government is always like, oh, well, we can't tell them. The people can't handle it. They can't handle it. They can't handle it. Yeah, they can't handle it. But the reason they can't handle it is because the manipulation and the programming and the indoctrination. That's why they can't handle it. That is what frustrates the shit out of me, is manipulated. The reason why these people are all just like scared of everything. And so... And everybody is, freaking out about the nukes and all this stuff. It's like, they have no idea that they can't do nukes. It's all a threat. It's all a game. Just like telling you can die from the moment you're born. It's all a game. It's all to just keep you focused on what they're telling you. Keep your mind controlled because your consciousness is being controlled by them. And that is your energy. That is who you are. That is what you are giving them. And, you have to wake up and want to break free so that you can be independent and go out and live your life. And that means every different thing to every different people. There's no set thing. And that is why we are considering this moving out of 3D into 4D, 5D. And it is your abilities as a consciousness. And so... it's your ability to understand who and what you are without having to be in the dollhouse playing, oh, look, this one's going to walk over here. Oh, and then she's going to do, slap that. It's just a fucking playing. It's playing. It's like adults playing with or when you're a kid and you have like Barbies or dollhouses and stuff, and you move the people around. Oh, what would they do over here? What would they do over there? You are creating what they would do. So if the Barbie came to life, and so then it started making decisions what it was going to do. But it can't go and do whatever it wants because it still has a controller. It's all of this whole progression is going through. So pulling free, I don't even know how to explain this, because you're pulling free from being a puppet, but you are connecting and understanding who and what you are, understanding that there's a flight plan, and that makes you have to reel it in when you have to pull back the control that you want to have. So it's so much about balance. And I swear to God, when I start saying this, some of the stuff, and this is the problem with the language, with the translation, why you can no, people don't just understand what you're saying. And it can sound like gibberish. It can sound like hogwash. It can sound like, whatever. It's all in the translation. It is how people perceive. It's how they translate. It's how they understand, is how it's going to go into them. So this, all these people are just scared of, it's like being scared. It's like a dog being scared of its tail. That's what it is. Like these people are scared of their fucking own dog being scared of their own damn tail. And it is like Trixie going around, spinning in circles in the room, just chasing her tail, like it was really going to get her. And that's what it looks like to me with so many people. And it can be super frustrating. And yesterday, I'm telling you, I don't think a day goes by that I'm not lectured by a Christian over what I need to do. Yesterday, it was coming at me in all caps, like, college. And then using, they got to get personal. Like yesterday, I was constantly, and I have this one, and and it could be more than one. I can't remember names and handles and stuff like that ever. Like, just can't. And so many people use the same emojis for their faces and stuff. And it's like, so, this one, she's always calling me Miss Kelly. And I don't know. It's just a Southern kind of old thing. I don't like to be called Miss Kelly. And maybe it was something like they were just taught, but back when I was taught, it was like you were handing over some of your power to that person. Like you were giving them a title over you or something. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but I'd rather just be called Kelly. But anyways, I know that they're probably, to them, they're being, I don't know. I don't like those words, but I think that, that is, it's just a thing. Like, it's how we all perceive. It's through our lenses, through our own experience. And so I can't judge them, and I'm sure not going to hurt their feelings and stuff. But it just reminds me, like back in the movies when I'd see like these people, like in Gone with the Wind, and Miss Scarlet. Well, Miss Scarlet is like, don't call me Miss, please. That just bothers me. So anyways, but I'm not going to hurt their feelings, because maybe where they are, that's just a very kind thing. It's intrusive to call somebody by their first name. So that's the cultural differences too with a lot of us that we don't recognize. And that is part of, their whitewashing society, is to take out the culture instead of us learning from other people and accepting other people. And right now, the video that got me to start crying was these two little girls. And, I don't know. If I saw them, I would have thought they were two little black girls. But I don't know. I mean, it's gotten so ridiculous. Like, who fucking cares? Why do we have to fucking worry about this shit? It doesn't fucking matter what somebody is. They're out, the shell does not matter. And so, but what they're doing in schools is making kids feel, they're just making them talk about it and think about it and stuff all the time. They're just making it a thing. And so these two little girls, their mom is trying to give them a little lesson, and she's white. And the one little girl, the littler one, she's like crying. And the mom said, what did they say? And they said, you're not black. And she's going to make me start crying. I don't like to see kids in pain. That's what gets me with the stuff they're doing to the kids. It bothers me. Like, there shouldn't be, have to be. Being a kid should be a lot more fun than it's being right now. Like, you know, and they're robbing these, like these souls are, is my perspective, is being robbed of a beautiful time in their life and an exciting time. And it's just getting them to focus on things that they don't need to worry about, like sex and color and all this shit. But so she said, and what did you do? And she said, I pointed to dad and said, that's my dad. And that person said, and then what they said, no, she's not. No, he's not. That's not your dad. And the little girl was just devastated about this. She looked like she was like 5 years old or something. And I mean, she could have been 6 or 7. It's hard to tell. It's the same thing. Like, you can't just tell everything about somebody by looking on the surface. And so she, the mom did this like a little experiment kind of thing to show her. And she got coffee and she got creamer, and then she poured them in the cups, and there was 3 cups, and she showed her like, this is the coffee and this is the creamer. And then she showed her, you know, and the little girls got it right away. Oh, that's dad, not you. And then and then she goes, what happens when we put them together? And then, oh, she's going to cry again. Because then the older little girl, she was like, then that's anyways, it was really cute because it made sense to the little kids, and but it bothered me why they in schools. I just saw another one of an 8-year-old girl. No, she was 9 years old. She was 9 years old. This girl was so freaking articulate, and she was reading a paper, but it's still, I mean, she could have had help writing it, but I mean, when she spoke, the power behind her voice, and I mean, this kid had it going on. Like, there's kids who have come here to move society. There's white blood cells that came to guide society down this new path of becoming all that you are, this evolution of mankind, this, you know, it's the path to enlightenment. It's part of what the other beings that they're also scared of have done. And so anyways, this little girl, she was reading this paper to the school board, and then you could see all the, you know, the audience behind, but she was up there and she said, I'm 9 years old, and that she had gotten an argument, something, I don't know, she said something about politics or something, and got told she's not allowed to talk about politics at school. And so then she started bringing up about the posters that are in there, and she wants those posters taken down. They're not allowed to talk about politics at school. Get this stuff taken down. And the girl, she was more articulate and had it going on. And I have seen a lot of parents at these different boards going up and just losing their minds on, you know, and then other ones getting up there and they have like 20-minute script they want to speak. And then they find out they get like 3 minutes or 5 minutes. And then they kind of like panic or trying to hit the high notes and stuff. And because there is so much to say, but see, they keep going to these boards like you're giving them power. You're going to them. You're kneeling before them and you're saying, please hear me. Please listen to what I say. You know, it's like, oh, it's like it's like you're going before the Godfather and kissing the fucking ring and bending a knee. It is what the fucking crown has done throughout history. Take a knee. Take a knee. And then that is what people are continuing to do. When you wake up, you're not going to take a knee. And who cares if they come swinging at you with a goddamn sword and take your head off? You know that doesn't matter. What you just did had more significance in the impact in this world that you could have for living 10 lifetimes. There's so much more to life than what people think. They're so desperate to hold on to something that doesn't exist. They're so desperate to please people that don't matter. They're so misinformed and they're so confused. And that is what is, those are my challenges. It is like very challenging to know things when other people just don't. Yesterday, to me, but see, it's my own perspective, it's my own perception, it's my own existence. It doesn't fucking matter what somebody else thinks of it or how somebody else feels about it. Anybody who even listens to me, if somebody thinks that I'm crazy, okay, you're in a different reality. It doesn't matter. The people who, I've said this a lot of times when I'm talking, it is to give you, it's like planting seeds. It's like triggering the mind to start, stoking the fire. That's what I'm trying to do, is get people to think about something. Go look something up. If you're interested, go look it up and let your mind start guiding you in this expansion. It is what do they call that? Like, yeah, space is the last frontier, but what is it that they, like, the people who go on the explorers. It is, so they give you this false place that, to keep your mind going, like, you could explore space, and that is one thing. Like, when I say, I can hear somebody talking and I'll be like, oh yeah, and then they'll get to some part and I'll be like, oh my God. Oh, there's so much to wake up to and it takes so long. And so it can be somebody sitting there saying all this stuff, and then they'll start talking about space and how far it is and how many miles and what the moon's doing and what the sun's doing. It's like, okay, you just lost me there. Yeah, you're just lost out there in space. But that's what they do. They keep you focused out there in space, keep you focused on something else. Your mind is exploring, and when it's not working, when it's not feeding into the system, you're exploring what they want you to explore. And then look at this, like right now with this goddamn fucking Dahmer shit. Everybody is, I guess, apparently obsessed with it. I got into a couple minutes and I was like, okay, they are totally sexualizing murder. That is not good for someone's mind. And then when I've got all these people watching it and talking about it or whatever, apparently, and plus knowing, like, we just went through this with Fresh, like, how many shows like I put on now has got something about eating people nonstop, all the time. There's always, yesterday I put on movie after movie after movie. I was on YouTube, and I want to show my blanket too. I was on YouTube, and so it was like the Lifetime movies on there, and Lifetime movies, and it showed so much stuff. I mean, the judicial isn't there to protect. They created crime so that they could create criminal. The same thing they did with the whole terrorist thing. They did it all the way back. Oh, well, we need this. So we need cops. We're in danger. We need cops. You go back to the beginning of this country in America, back when people were sleeping, we just took it upon ourselves. You had a bell ringer who would walk around all night in the streets of different towns and communities. Like, I don't know if everybody took their role and took, or they just hired somebody and everybody hired them. But they would walk around all night, keeping watch, ringing the bell. All is well. All is well. All is well. And they'd watch for fires, and people didn't go and rob and stuff. People's doors were wide open. People weren't scared of each other like they are now. They created that. They made that happen. That wasn't even that long ago. And they have created crime. They created criminals. There's a reason they put shows on like Cops, to get people scared. Oh my God, see, these people are psycho. And then other people, just laughing at somebody's, problems. Somebody's strung out on drugs and people are just sitting there laughing at them. So, that cuts you off from humanity right there. That divides you. That is, you're better than them. They don't promote compassion and empathy. that is what's being triggered and turned on in people. And people feel so foreign to people, and people cry. People are falling apart. Like, I don't want to feel for anyone else. Like, but in order to be connected to all that is and all that you are, you have to feel for everything. You have to feel for everyone. You have to understand you're a part of the feelers. You know, is to begin to feel is to begin to live. Until you begin to feel, you are just surviving. You're just existing for somebody else. You're not existing for self. And so, yeah, I don't know what it was I said yesterday, you know, in these videos. I don't know. It's just they point something out to me and then they'll just tell me in my head and show me things. And then they will put it on repeat until I go and say it. And then I'm just like, okay. And then they'll start a new thing. Okay, now look at this. Now, sometimes it's exhausting. It's so exhausting. It's just like, oh, what the hell kind of mission? What did I do in my past life? Like, is this like a punishment or something? Did I really do this? Like, is it because it was a good thing? Like, they keep telling me that there's a good thing coming, like a good thing. They keep showing me and showing me and showing me. And they keep telling me. So, you know, I'm going to keep trusting. But, you know, it is not a fun thing. It is not something that is makes you feel good all the time. Unless, you know, if I was all in ego and I felt like I was better than everybody and I know more than everyone, you know. But I don't feel like that. I feel like I want everybody to catch up. I want to be able to sit and talk. I want to talk about things that are real. And stop being in conversations, people just whining about stuff that isn't real. It's just, oh, man. People are just so, it's just aggravating, man. But so whatever it was I said yesterday, I have no idea. But it was, and I don't even know if it was the same people. Like, because I got several of these. One with all caps, Kelly, talk to God. Kelly, talk to God. Oh, Lord. I just did. So they, on top of that, then I got this long lecture. I don't even know. It was all of this stuff. I don't know. It's kind of like, okay, well, you're right about this or you're right about that, but you're totally off on this. You better get it together, Kelly. Kelly, I mean it. Like, you really need to think about this, Kelly. Okay, Kelly. You know, there's this, what? And it is nonstop with these people. They tell me, like, you don't know God unless you're up there saying, I guess, 1 Corinthians 2.5 in the day that Jesus said, you know, it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Because I can recite a book. I can recite things that I can say live, laugh, love. I don't even know if I say that in the proper way. Oftentimes I don't. But that doesn't mean a goddamn thing. I don't understand what these people think. And there's such a part that is coming to the surface of these people. And they're such goddamn bullies. Oh, it's so mental. And they're so controlling. They're so judgmental. Did you forget to memorize that verse in the Bible? Like, did you skip that part? Like, what in the hell? And so, sitting there telling me that I whatever, you know, if I don't get my shit together and acclaim the Holy Savior, I'm going to hell, and I need to quit going and telling people anything different than that and stuff. And it's just, whatever. To me, you know, and I'll just be like, because I don't judge them. I know they're just indoctrinated. I know that they just don't know. It is very much for they not see. I can't be upset for something that they cannot see. It's not like they see it and they're doing it. If they saw it, they wouldn't be doing it. They don't see it, so they're doing it. And so, and that is what is going to be what they're going to face in themselves. And that's why so much of it is coming to the surface. I'm telling you, The universe is going to make sure you don't miss it. You don't miss a damn thing. You're going to see yourself. It's all coming to the surface. It's in a fucking sweeping the nation with the people, the toxicity, the division. I mean, even in fucking schools, sitting there telling little kids, well, you're not black. It's like, okay, so and then the parents' responses is to go before the board. I mean, they're all spending all their time going before the board to talk to them about the library books. Let's do something about these library books. Like, I don't want my child to be learning about fellatio. I don't want him to be being taught by maps. It's like, okay, so is that going to make some big change there? We're gonna make some big change. That's what we're going to do. We're going to go to the board. We're going to ask them, please, if we take a knee, we say, you got the power. Will you please just do what we say? Oh, okay. That's really worked out throughout history. I saw yesterday this, no, this was this morning. This person was like, and this was duetted or stitched or what, I think duetted. Yeah, that's where I'm really, I do not understand. If you don't have anything to say except for to show what someone else is saying and show the face that you made when you read it, like, please do more with your life. Seriously. There's got to be more. But anyways, a duet. So somebody says something and everybody's got to show their reaction to it. And his was how boomers are the worst. They're the worst. Boomers are so fucking bad that back in the 70s, they had to be reminded, not only at 10, but at 11, do you know where your children are? The thing is, okay, dude, you want to sit here and say, yeah, I grew up back then. I know that there was the rule. When the streetlights come on, get in your houses. It's like was curfew or something. Get in your damn house. The lights are on. And they did remind parents, do you know? And most of the parents were drunk. Most of the parents were self-involved. And that has been part of the process of learning. And this Gen Xer, like, I just love to call myself a Gen Xer. I'm a Gen X. And it's like, oh my God, could you just get down there and lick your own balls a little more? It's like, get over it. Like, how much stuff do you want to divide on? And in this experiment of mine, we're the best decade. We're the only ones that didn't do anything wrong. We're perfect. Everybody before and everybody after, they're the worst. They're the worst. They're the worst. It's like, Jesus Christ. But it's all, see how it's all coming to the surface. And it's going to smack these people right in the damn faces. It's ridiculous. And then to sit there and be like, oh, this is the worst. See what boomers were like? Okay, so you just told all these 20 and 30-year-olds who they call everybody a boomer who is, I don't know, maybe when you get a wrinkle, you're a boomer. So all these people, you just, again, just like the Simpsons, you tell them, oh, they're the worst. Don't listen to them. Don't listen to older people. Older people are damaged. Don't listen. It's like, okay, well, you're a real good foot soldier for the deep state, aren't you? Keep that division going. And then you got all these duetters. Yeah. See what he said? I'm a Gen Xer. Oh my God. I swear to God, I have never seen a group so fucking proud of who they are. Yeah, oh, well, we raised ourselves. Dude, you weren't the goddamn first ones. And any of us who allowed our children to go out into the world and raise themselves, like, and you can't just go and say it's one group, because you did have people who were very caught up in the 90s getting out there. They're going to make their stamp on society. They're going to make it. They're going to give their kids what they didn't have. They're going to show their kids, and these are people who were coming from, that's the aftermath of the depression of what people went through in their own houses. But then you have lots of people that were like, oh man, my childhood was the best. I tell my kids, get outside. You got to use your brain. What am I supposed to do? Create something. You use your mind. Come up with something. And It became a lost thing. But these kids who are like, oh, yeah, we had to raise ourselves. God, I'm just, this is the process that is just, it's draining to my mind. And I do have to just pull free sometimes. Like, oh my God. And how people are just, oh my gosh, I don't even, they just look for things to divide on. And everything is like, that is where they're most comfortable. And, it's like, okay, cool, 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 cool. You're not ready to evolve. You're not ready to, ascend. You're not ready for higher minded consciousness. And I have a really hard time thinking that that is true with the majority of souls, because this is such a dramatic and such a dramatic time in the evolution of the universe, that the souls that came here, they came for this. This is why they are here. They didn't come here to not learn. So that's why I'm saying they're learning on so many different levels. And there can be some that are going to be like at their after in your death review, that's where they see what they learned. So much of what you learn is when you look back, you see it. When you're in it, you don't realize what you're learning. It's when you look back and you're like, oh my God. And besides being able to look back and see like how much you learned and how much you expanded, when you look back and you watch how things fit in together and you see the divine fabric of life, how everything is so perfectly timed and made. It's meticulous. And that is where, people don't even notice that, because they're so busy focusing on trying to save themselves, trying to be something they're not. All of the things that they don't focus on is what is important. And what they do focus on is what drains them and makes them not understand anything about life, and why they're frustrated and angry and bitter and all of that stuff. And so I believe that there's going to be, I just think this is one thing that I really got to just really come to terms with a lot, is time. And that is like the master of time. There's like, it is an energy all on its own, and it works intricately with how things move. And when you notice the design behind life, you see, like, it is huge. But to me, this whole thing with time, it is so much about how long this takes to wake people up. And then that's what's going to be like, even once they wake up, the trauma that we're going to go through is people purge out their anger and stuff. That's going to be a lot. But it's going to be really directed towards people who are more deserving of it. My daughter yesterday, the oldest one, she said she was working for Catholic Charities for so long, right? And then that stressed me out. I was like, oh my God, you're gonna have some shooters gonna come in there, like that is all over the place. And so she got out of that one, and then she was working. For them, for a while, she was working at the homeless. Right in the place where you have to have, like, I don't think it's Section 8. It is something different, and it's like a court order or something, where it's kind of like you get out of the mental hospital or you're homeless or whatever, and then you can go through this. And so kind of like, I don't know, kind of seemed like shelter apartments or something, because you could get kicked out real easy. But you had an apartment. And so she was kind of like the manager of that. And that's when she was telling me, when she was going in, and she'd be like 20 dead people and stuff. She said it was crazy. Once the fentanyl, the blue pill, all that stuff started, I was hearing it from her, because she was working in that community, and it was just so many dead people every day. And now with the temperature, what they're doing and stuff, they're out to kill as many as they can as fast as they can. That's why it's so fucking important for you to take care of yourself. You can't stop them. Like every day, all day long, my hair just, and I have to keep rubbing my head. It feels like the nerves, and it's just like they're pushing my hair. I don't know what they're doing. They're going to blow up my brain. Hurry up. Fucking do it so I can get the fuck out of here. Like, I swear to God. This girl, she was just talking about that her boyfriend died last year, and she was so upset. She was so upset because he got out. I was like, yeah, it is. It's very much like this is, you don't die. You don't stop existing. You just get out of the game. So, but I'm not saying like don't take it lightly. Like you can't, like there's a reason to it. When I'm talking about this divinely orchestrated, and you have a part you're playing all the time, and you're always learning. And part of my stuff is this, really having compassion and empathy for people who don't see, because it is just getting started. Like people are just now waking up. We still got to go through all of the process of healing. And I don't know. In there, I think it's already going to start with the people rebuilding. Probably that's where it will start being, where you'll see the people who really healed, because they're not going to be as affected by what's going to happen. What's going to happen is going to affect the people who haven't healed the most, but it's a gift from God. It's a gift from the universe. And and like this one girl sitting there lecturing or whatever, it's like, it's different in our perception, because she's telling me, stop talking to the universe, stop talking to these aliens, you are talking to devils and shit like that. And I was like, it's perception. You think there's a man up in the sky who's watching over, who is going to damn you to hell if you don't say his name. Say his name. And I think it is a universal consciousness of a solar system that we're all a part of. We're the cells of a solar system. That's how I look at it. It's a perception, and I don't need to go out and get your God to say I can go to heaven. I'm from heaven and I'll go back to heaven. I don't need anybody to give me permission. And then I started thinking, there really is, like, people are here for all different reasons. Like, there's a lot of people, their whole life existence is so that they can try and get permission to go to heaven. Please, please, God, please. And, I mean, every single thing that they do, that they could look at as a lesson and learning, and really trying to go in deeper and be introspective and heal why they would do something that they didn't feel in alignment with. And instead, they just become guilty and angry and upset with themselves. And I can't believe I'm this stupid. I'm a horrible person. I'm a bad person. I'm not that's where it always lays down. And when you understand that you're here learning lessons and stuff, you don't judge yourself like that. And then when you see like everybody else is doing the same thing, they're all just here learning lessons, you stop judging them too. It's like there is no judgment. But this awakening process is we got a ways to go. I just I hope it all can go a lot in a year, but it's going to be a while, a good long while before everybody is really to that really healed, accepting, loving, really understanding what life is all about, really understanding what this world is. Like we're a ways away from that, I would say. And it's got to keep going through this process, and it's very hard to be somebody who sees it all, like, and still have to be like on the sidelines, kind of like you can't go in and do anything. You can't help people. You can't fix it for them. You can't show them. You can't pry their eyes open. You can't heal for them. Most of the things you say, until they're ready to understand it, they don't. So it is, just if you're out there in the world and you're being super frustrated, and then this whatever, I don't know if it's the sun, the moon, the towers, the energy, the people, it's like something is really changing. Like there's something that is like, it's like the locomotive is pushing us hard. Like I feel like it is like where they showed me how the tsunami wave of energy to come and go over. It feels like we are flipping over. It feels like it is this momentum. It's I don't know how to explain it, but it feels like it's really close to this, which means it's close to this disaster thing, which means it's close to the financial thing. But see, I think that's all part of why Joe put that deadline. I mean, there's a deadline when the money thing, because he already said, but he also said he was sending 2 Social Security payments this month and then skipping November. And then we were going on Joe Bucks in December. And we didn't get 2 payments this month. So he didn't send two, but he lies about everything. Everything is just a show. So that could have all been just some bullshit, anyways, just to make it look like, oh, yeah, he's a good guy. He's doing this good. Because, oh my God, the stuff that it's ridiculous. What the shit, how they manipulate stuff is so crazy. But no matter what, there's a deadline on the financial, and they cannot. They just can't keep pretending like there's money when there's not money. Like, I don't know. I know the money thing is happening and it's going to happen, and I know that's the biggest thing that they're trying to hold back because they know they've lost power, they've lost control, and it's going to be the collapse of all systems, and they're just going to just all fall. And yesterday in one of those movies I was watching, and it was showing this hospital administrative meeting, and this woman talking about the people who want to donate, and that is how the rich people, they started using it. Probably Rockefeller from the very beginning was using the hospitals as a money laundering funneling system. They're going to give money to this and charity for that and all of that stuff. It was always, and all the way back to, the one hospital where I was working, it was a nonprofit. Yeah, okay. Nonprofit and religious nuns walking around, and it's like, it's all evil. It's all fucking evil. It's all about control. It's all uh, just nonsense. But in this meeting, it has all of these administrators, and then you think, okay, so the administrators, so each floor, each department, like you've seen this in movies where it'll be like, oh, you're going to be the head of the department. So the heads of the department, which generally, like on the nursing one, it wasn't even nurses. It wasn't, it would just be, somebody with a bachelor's or a master's, whatever the thing was that they deemed was necessary for that position, that you had to have those credentials. But you certainly didn't have to be a nurse to be a head of a nursing floor. It was like ridiculous. And so you get all of these administrators that aren't doing medical. They don't have any contact with patients whatsoever. And they're going into these board meetings and they're making decisions over people's health. Because when the staff goes to them and says, well, this is what blah, 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 blah. And this is what went on all during 2020. This is what was shown over and over and over and over. They were going by a protocol that is designed by the people who have the money at the top. The people who are the workers, they don't have a say. These people who trust this system, you're trusting rich people and administrators with your health. I don't know how to get it more clear to people. And it is right in your face, but you don't pay attention. And so you're trusting administrators. And that's another thing that just the amount of people who are going through medical tyranny awakening. And it is, that's frustrating. A lot of things where it is very much like I have really got to pull in. And then plus just wanting to be out of my area so much. Like, oh my God. It is one of those things, when you get to a point where you feel uncomfortable and you just keep feeling uncomfortable. And I know it's because I'm going to be going. I know it's all part of the process. And I'm waiting for them to show me where I'm going. It's like, show me where I'm going. Show me, show me, show me. And, because the universe will bring it to you when it's the right time, and I mean, they could freaking, anything could happen. Somebody could pull up with a motorhome and break down in my front yard and go out there and talk to them. And then they say, here, have it. I mean, anything can happen. Well, so, and, if I'm not going to sit here and whine and cry every day, like, oh, I want a motorhome, I want a camper, I want a van, anything, just to get the fuck out of here and go live in it. But, obviously I know that right now they're keeping me here because it's about to be a really unsafe thing to not have shelter, I think. This is like what they are showing me or telling me is making me really feel that way. So, I'm not going to push and be like, okay, well, fuck you guys. I want out of here. I'm going to go. It just, nothing will work out. Like, you can't get it. But when it's supposed to work out, then all of a sudden it's just right there in front of you. That is where you need to relax and go into that space. It changes your life. So, I'm not going to sit here and whine and cry every day like, oh, I will sometimes, though. I will tell them, like, come on, guys, how much longer is it? I do. I don't always talk nice to them, but, they understand. And there's things that they don't understand, and you have to tell them passionately because they don't understand. So, and there's many that remember. They know the challenges that we're going through. So, anyways, I'm not going to sit here and push, but I do. I mean, the energy's already out there. I've already got boxes piled up. I've got so many boxes piled up now. And I'm not even tearing them down because I feel like, no, why would I tear them down? I just have to retape them. No, and I have no idea why. You always know things afterwards. So I'm just, going along with the flow. But, between feeling this isolation with going online and just seeing where people are, and it's like, I don't know, it kind of gives me this like Nimrod, just sit there banging their head up against a wall or something kind of vibe. And then out here, just these most passive, aggressive, I don't even know. I really, really get to the point of like being creeped out at this point by people who just want to participate in the system and what they're willing to give up. And then I have also compassion for like the young couple next door who just want to live their life and build their house and build their legacy and do their stuff, They just want that. But it's the world is giving you obstacles where you have to face certain things. You have to ask yourself questions, and either people aren't asking questions or they just don't give a fuck. And that is where I just start feeling like, oh, god damn. And being surrounded by that is just like, oh, I feel like it feels like you're just surrounded, like you're on a floaty in a lake, and you just everything around you is like crocodiles and muck or something. It feels not even crocodiles, because that would scare the fuck out of me. More just like sewage. More like sewage. Like, ugh. So, anyways, there is challenges. No matter, especially I think when you're awake, because I hear so many people talking once they woke up, like their traumas just start. It's like, why did I even wake up? Like, this is so hard. And it is. And then there is a lot of hard things. And watching people, I'm telling you, it just brings those vibes up to me so much of when you're teaching your kid how to tie a shoe. And you just like, well, just let me do it. That's how I feel all the time. But I know I can't just go around and they don't even hear me. I could tell them and tell them. And just these conversations that I get into with these religious people wanting to push their stuff on me, who aren't even willing to even think outside of the box. Oh, and I just saw fucking Celine Dion. Somebody just went into the store selling her stuff. Oh my God. Even one shirt, a little in the ad or in the picture, a little fucking 3-year-old, and it says ho, ho, all with the eye. That chick is fucking creepy mother. God damn, some of these people are so goddamn creepy. But anyways, I should probably go because I've been talking. I want to show this blanket. And this is something like, to me, when all of this stuff started, like I said, like I'm always tuning into what they're showing me and telling me, and they've been guiding me since my awakening started, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago, when it started really awakening me to all this different stuff. And one of the things was, during after quarantine, because before, I was just got back from Costa Rica. I mean, we're out travel doing things. And the year before, I was in Spain and Portugal, like, just going out and living life. And then all of a sudden, everything shuts down. And then I start looking. I was very curious in the beginning, like, and I was so anti-Trump. I thought he's doing all this. Then once I started seeing what the news was doing to him, that's where I started being like, oh, wait a minute. There's something going on here that's above my brain. And you start really paying attention. That's when I got hyper focused, like, listen to what he said, listen to, you start, and then the whole picture develops. But in that, process, the guides, and when I started seeing about the financial and how it was all a part of it, and that was all going to go, and then the stuff they show me, and showing me about like what the world is going to be like, and that's where I know it's not going to be like just yesterday when I was watching that one thing, and it was showing about the administrator, but the corporations and stuff, and like everybody running the world is not anything. There is no quality or anything. It's all about them. I cut a peach open yesterday. I had this beautiful peach that I had got up at the food bank, which even this, I am just noticing the GMO food so much. Like, it's disgusting. It says peach just got beautiful, and I decided I was going to cut it open yesterday. It was so disgusting inside. It was brown. It didn't look like anything like a peach or something. It was like GMO's a huge fail, big ol' F, but they don't care because it's just meant to make us sick and keep us sick and not be under nutrition, like no nutrition. It wants to go back to rickets and shit. Like, they don't give a fuck. I'm sure they've already got the fucking shot for it. So, when they were showing me that stuff and getting me to understand about that we will be our own currency, like your skills, what do you have to offer? What can you do? What can you provide? Do you have a service? Because it's not going to be like jobs. All of the jobs, all of the businesses and stuff, they all have this toxicness. So once you go out of the people who are contact, human to human, and you go beyond that, it loses it. It loses everything. And we're going to go back to that contact, where we have contact with who we're buying stuff from. It's not going to be, we're going to go back to things that are being quality. And then plus, we're not going to just need this endless more and more. Now, it's going to be, a hard one for a lot of people. I was a shopaholic. I get it, And it's going to be a hard one for a lot of these people. As the stores, like a lot of malls, there's already all the stores are closed down, and so many stores are closing. But when everything is gone, like when they shut everything down for a couple weeks, it's going to be like cold turkey for a lot of people who have lived off the drug of the system. And so it's going to be, fucking shorten out. That's why I keep saying you got to be prepared to be able to be home and not be out in the chaos, because some of these people are going to be so chaotic and so angry, and it's all coming to the surface for them. And who knows when they'll see it for themselves, but it's going to go. There's no getting around it. And so in the whole process of them showing me that, and then plus then when it was in lockdown and quarantine and stuff, and my daughter, she got this job. Did she have, I can't remember all of time. I just know it was around that time, and she got a job, and the girl crocheted, and she would watch the girl, and she thought it was really cool, so the girl showed her. So then she started, and then she said it's so relaxing. It's like, oh, you ought to try it. So she taught me, and then, but they'll show you, but it takes a long time. Like, you don't just learn it the first time. I mean, maybe it's easier for people who don't have a brain injury or something, but to me, it took a while. And then plus your coordination with your hands, because you'll have real loose things and the stitches are all wacky and shit. And so But to me, when I started doing that and just doing it, it was kind of like to just kind of like learning new things, which is really important all the time. But in becoming good at something and challenging, but it's also very relaxing. And then plus it's such a great thing because you can give gifts out that you make, which, when I went to that shower and my stuff was all made, and then I saw everybody else's is like Kohl's or Target or whatever, and I was just like, oh my gosh, that is like, I don't know. Everybody has their own thing, how they see that. I see it one way. But anyways, so in this whole process, now what I'm seeing is like when I'm sitting here, so this is the one blanket. I switch around to the different ones. I'm still working on a couple other ones. But this one is my granddaughter wanted me to make her a blanket. So I started doing this one. And when I'm sitting here doing it and it's all wool and it's like, and I'm not trying to sell this, so just make sure people know I'm not trying to sell this. This is somebody else's. But and it's super thick. Like this blanket, when you think about the blankets at like Target and stuff, like I've got 4 blankets on my bed. My top one is this one, but I have one of those micro soft or whatever they are, that weird kind of fabric blanket, and then I have a knitted blanket, and then I have a quilt, and then I have a blanket that I made. But these are really warm blankets. Like they aren't like the ones at the store. Like those are just like decoration. Like that's what I'm talking about, the difference in quality. Like when you look at this, like a wool blanket, like and how thick that is and stuff. But anyways, so when I'm sitting here making this, and I love like figuring out like designs and colors and stuff. And so while I'm sitting there making it, and I'm thinking about like I've seen stuff like this in stores, like fancy kind of boutiques or something, where they're selling some blanket like this, a big blanket, like $500. That is what I'm talking about. Like, so me sitting here doing that and just focusing on myself through this, like everybody's got their different focuses of what they've been going through. And I know I'm not the only person. A lot of people started focusing on things of to benefit themselves. Like, a lot of people did a lot of things to expand themselves. But so when you are doing something, then it becomes better and better. And it does get to a quality where you could go and sell them. So then this is what I'm saying. Like I could make blankets and barter and trade for food. I could, with a store, like wherever it was that I were to live. Like this is just an example of how you make the stuff work for you. So wherever it is, because it's gonna, as the cities blow up and people migrate out and move around, and little towns and stuff start developing, little communities, and start popping up all over the place, and then people start developing their communities, and they start figuring out how they want to feed the community. Like, do we want to stay individual? Do we want to get a farm going, a co-op? Like, do we want to have a little market? And how they want to start doing things, like they'll figure it out. But like in a situation where there's a little market and there is a co-op farming or whatever, see, then you have something that you make, that you trade. So I could go take this up to the little store, and I could say, here, I've got 3 blankets and whatever. I mean, the cost of things is going to change a lot. I mean, when houses are right now 600,000 and shit, and they're going to go down and drop down to like 20,000. So there's going to be a huge drop. But we're going to have way more money. So we're going to spend money on better quality things with our time, and everything's going to change. Our resources and stuff are going to become free. They're going to stop selling us. Like there's a whole bunch of things. But so you take 3 blankets to the little market, and then you have like a credit or a consignment, or they just buy them outright from you, and then you have like a surplus in the green of how much you can go up and get more food, or supplies or whatever it is you need. And then when you need more, you just take in more blankets. And So that is what I'm talking about, is like you start thinking about things of what you could do to take care of yourself, not who you could work for, but what is something that you could do for yourself to offer to help. Not to offer to help, but it could be a service. It could be. I think that there's going to be less of a service industry than there ever has been before, because I think so many people, when this all goes down, and some people will be forced out of their jobs. Some places will just collapse. Like, it's going to be huge what's going to happen. It is going to be like the whole world. It's going to be like you spent all day building with all your blocks. You built this beautiful city, and you just spent all your time and energy building this wonderful thing. And Godzilla is going to come in and just crunch it all down. That's what it's going to feel like. Like, everything is going to be destroyed on so many levels. And so those businesses and stuff, there won't be jobs and stuff for people to be going out to. And so they're going to be pushed out of their jobs in a lot of cases, and they're going to quit because they just want more. They don't want to deal with their boss. All different reasons is how it's going to collapse. And it's been collapsing, but not to the point where these businesses are gone. Like, they're going to be gone. And but there is going to be money coming back to people, all based on your social security number. And it's going to be like leveling the playing field, so nobody's poor anymore, and everybody has what they need. And what you do with what you need is up to you. So, they give me what I need, like, whatever it is. If they say, okay, well, you get $100,000 in your account, and that's got to last you 10 years or whatever. I don't know how it's all going to go down. But people who, especially while they're still even stores, to just go out and spend. Well, now I'll finally get what I need. I just need that Rolls Royce. If I had that Ferrari, that would change my life. There'd still be that. And the system is desperate. Oh, please. Yes, this is a beauty right here. Come take it. They're a bunch of fucking car salesmen. And so that, it's got to go through all of this process. That's why I'm like, this is going to take a while. It's going to take a long while. I used to think it was going to go quick. It's like, it's been very eye-opening for me too. So, anyways, in that, so if I had $100,000 or whatever, see, I could use that stuff to go out and travel, get another house someplace else and stuff like that. Figuring out what I already know what I want my lifestyle to be like. So I already know how I'm directing my energy. And when the energy switches, I know in which direction like that I'm going to go into. And like, I'm not going to go into panic and, oh my God, what am I going to do? What if I don't have Target, if I don't have a school, if I don't have, that's all for each person to resolve in themselves. But there will become a time when things like this have value to people. There's not going to be manufacturers that are just pumping out, sweatshops to pumping out stuff. It's not going to be like that anymore. People aren't going to work like that anymore. So you're not going to be able to go down and get $1.99 sweater or whatever. It's going to change. So anyways, that is why it's important to learn how to take care of yourself. Learn how to, because you will have to pay somebody to knit you a sweater or make you something that's warm if you don't know how to do it for yourself. And so if you have that kind of skill, you know how to sew, you know how to make things, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to become dependent on you. And that doesn't mean jack up the price. That's not the direction humanity wants to go. But you will be paid your value for what it is that you're putting out there. Whatever your product is, it's not going to be being run down anymore by the corporations, and people are going to value what you have and what you have to offer. So everybody has something in them. Everybody has it, but that's why they want you to focus on everything else and not you. But each person has to do that for themselves. But anyway, so this was just an example. And, why I say, like, that's what I would do. And also with the face stuff, that I had made. I really think that is the way to go without having additives and all the chemicals and shit they put, you know? Just oranges and grapefruits and lemon, just slow boiled for a long time and then taking all of the junk out and just taking the serum and then putting that directly on your face. Well, there's a lot of people who won't want to do that, but they'll buy it from somebody else. So if you go and you learn how to do any of this stuff, like there's so much. There's so many of these women who are herbalists and naturalists and stuff like that. Oh, they're going to be, I think those people are going to be sought after. Also, people who understand about foraging and weeds and stuff. Those people are going to become very valuable in their communities. So, anyways, everybody has things to offer. And when you stop focusing on them and start focusing on you, you'll figure that out. And to me, for me, my guides show me, they tell me, they show me, like what I'm doing. They'll show me. So, anyways, it's just something to think about. And I really talked a long time and it stayed on. So, I don't know. That's fucking bullshit with them. I'm gonna just stay on top, just delete, 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 delete. And there's so much going on right now with the. I feel like it's part of the shift. Like I feel like everything's about to go the other direction, but right now there is a very strong hold on information by. Oh, but there is a weird thing. Is YouTube sent me this thing and said that to pick a URL, they're giving us all this URL and they're changing some rules. And so I'm going to just make mine at Kelly Hart. But there's another Kelly Hart. I just saw that too. Some skateboarder musician. It's a guy and he's young. So I don't know. He may already have that URL. So I don't know. That's the one I'm going to try and get. And so, anyways, that was another thing where it seems like, okay, things are going to move us in another direction. It just is very slow. But no matter what, it is going to definitely just be prepared. Be prepared because it's going to be a real big thing that's going to happen. That's going to get everybody's attention so that we can really turn shit going the other direction. So anyways, I'll talk to you later. Bye.